Night falls over Tokyo, a city of dazzling lights and hidden shadows. A white-haired woman in a crimson coat walks alone through a deserted alley. Two police officers approach her, warning that it isn't safe to be out at night like this. They ask for her identification, but she only gives a faint smile as she reaches for something inside her pocket. Darwin confidently introduces herself to the police as the reincarnation of Charles Darwin, the very man who conceived the theory of evolution. With a fearless smirk and commanding presence, she leaves the officers stunned, her words heavy with authority and an aura that transcends ordinary explanation. The policemen, uneasy about the strange woman claiming to be Darwin, decide to take her with them for questioning. They warn her about kidnappings in the area, but the woman only smiles with a chilling amusement, finding their words more interesting than concerning. Her cryptic response hints at a hidden motive, leaving the officers unsettled. Darwin explains the concept of mimicry in nature, comparing it to humans who disguise themselves with authority and social trust to deceive others. With a chilling conclusion, she exposes the truth. The man in uniform is not who he claims to be. Labeling him a fake cop, she unmasks the predator hiding behind the facade of law enforcement. Darwin swiftly exposes the truth. The so-called officers are actually kidnappers. With sharp intuition, she points out the gear in their patrol car, meant for abducting victims. Her confidence rattles them, and the fake cop slips, revealing their true intentions. The criminals scramble to keep control, ordering her capture and planning to take her to their usual place, unaware that they have already lost the upper hand. Darwin awakens inside the patrol car, her body bound but her expression calm. The fake cop driving is startled to see her conscious so soon, his confidence shaken. Instead of panicking, Darwin coolly acknowledges her situation, remarking on her own capture with a mocking smile. Her words cut deep as she directly calls him a fake policeman, turning the tension in the car into a battle of wits rather than brute force. Inside the speeding patrol car, the tension thickens, but Darwin's composure remains unshaken. With a sly grin, she toys with the fake policeman's nerves, asking him about remorse and conscience, as if she were the interrogator instead of the captive. Her words cut deep, making him sweat and stammer. He tries to reassert dominance, threatening her with violence, but Darwin dismisses the danger with chilling indifference. Death, she claims, is not something to fear. She has already experienced it once. The fake policeman tries to mask his fear with sarcasm, probing Darwin about the afterlife since she claims to have died once before. His words reveal a deep unease, yet he forces a mocking tone, as if trying to regain control of the situation. Darwin, however, meets his curiosity with a wicked smile, treating the exchange like a game she's always in charge of. Inwardly, the man knows the truth. He has already crossed too many lines, and whatever awaits him will surely be hell. Darwin spoke with an almost playful tone, mocking the very idea of heaven. To her, paradise was nothing but a bland world where every desire was granted without struggle. Drinks, women, pleasures, all falling endlessly into one's hands. Yet she dismissed it as dull, unworthy of true existence. Her words cut into the fake policeman's mind, hinting that the path he had chosen led not upward, but downward. The vision of hell unfolded like a grotesque painting, demons feasting, sinners screaming, and an endless cycle of torment with no promise of release. It was a place where even the faint hope of atonement was stripped away, leaving only suffering and despair. Yet, within the twisted cruelty of that domain, Darwin found something else: amusement. To her, the grotesque order of chaos, the bizarre creatures and merciless punishments became less a nightmare and more a stage of fascination. Inside the moving patrol car, tension thickened between Darwin and the fake cop. He clung desperately to skepticism, mocking her words as delusion and reassuring himself that there was no afterlife, no consequence beyond the present. To him, her talk of hell, heaven, and reincarnation was nothing but meaningless fantasy. Darwin, however, looked at him with sharp, almost predatory eyes, her smile growing wider. The way she twisted his denial back at him suggested that his words had only confirmed her own cruel philosophy. The atmosphere inside the speeding car snapped under the weight of Darwin's calm but piercing presence. Her expression remained unreadable, a blend of intrigue and quiet superiority, as if she already anticipated every move of her captor. The fake cop, on the other hand, began to crack, sweat pouring down his face, his grip on the wheel tightening until his knuckles whitened. A body was thrown out, tumbling into the darkness of the night road as the headlights cut across the abyss like a blade. The night road turned into a deadly trap. Out of nowhere, a grotesque figure smashed violently onto the windshield, its lifeless eyes glaring through the broken glass. The fake cop's composure cracked instantly, his hands jerking the wheel as the car skidded uncontrollably across the asphalt, tires screaming into the darkness. For a split second, time froze, the twisted corpse plastered against the glass. The officer stumbled back in horror as the corpse, mangled and hollowed at the chest, twitched unnaturally. From within the gaping wound, a grotesque creature began to emerge, its form shifting between wings, fangs, and distorted flesh. The air trembled as the monster shrieked, its presence warping reality itself. The monstrous creature loomed over the terrified fake policeman, its wings spread wide and its grotesque beak snapping hungrily. With gleeful malice, it revealed that it had devoured its last victim and was now searching for fresher prey. Its sharp teeth gleamed as it mocked the taste of the old, preferring instead the vitality of the young. The fake policeman trembled, overwhelmed by guilt and fear, as the towering beast loomed before him. The grotesque creature's grin widened, its monstrous form casting a shadow that swallowed every trace of courage he had left. Desperation filled his eyes, silently begging for an answer, for someone to explain what nightmare he had stumbled into. The monstrous being revealed itself as Aldroalf, the 65th pillar, known as the Adorned One, its grotesque figure towering over the trembling men. Its presence radiated both menace and reverence, a beast feared yet worshipped. Darwin, calm and fearless, addressed the creature with familiarity, unnerving the others who could barely comprehend how she knew its name. Aldroalf, the grotesque creature with its monstrous grin, greeted Darwin with an unsettling familiarity, calling their encounter less of a coincidence and more of destiny. Its mannerisms, however, had shifted, speaking with the reckless excitement of a child, a disturbing contrast to its terrifying form. Darwin remained composed, acknowledging that she had been brought here precisely for this meeting. The revelation made the air even heavier, as the fake policeman realized that he was witnessing a reunion between beings far beyond human comprehension. The fake policeman, shaken by the monstrous creature's words, asked if Darwin and Aldroalf were friends. Aldroalf's twisted grin widened as he laughed at the idea of friendship, claiming instead that Darwin was their savior, the one who had freed them from hell itself and brought them back into the living world. The truth of hell being real left him frozen in dread. In the depths of hell, countless demons tormented, devoured, and tried endlessly to erase him. Yet, no matter how many times he was killed, his soul refused to vanish completely. At first, they dismissed him as a fool who had recklessly leapt from heaven into hell just for the thrill of it. But his persistence, his refusal to yield, unsettled them. In the end, he spoke words that would forever bind them. If they revealed to him what lay beyond their torment, he would grant them freedom. A pact was forged in the very depths of hell. From that moment on, the demons who once reveled in endless torment gained a new purpose. Some became rulers of nations, stoking endless wars and bloodshed. Others transformed into beasts of the sea, dragging countless ships beneath the waves. And just as the old man, Darwin, had intended, they turned their hunger toward humans, consuming lives in the living world to fuel their evolution. Darwin stood firm, her crimson eyes locked on the monstrous being before her. No longer was she here as a curious observer of evolution, but as the one who would end its twisted course. The demon's laughter echoed through the night, mocking her resolve, yet there was no hesitation in her stance. Darwin reflected on her grand design, acknowledging that her intention to merge humans and demons had indeed spurred evolution in ways she had foreseen, and in many she had not. Humanity, once the unrivaled rulers of the earth, had been forced into survival against new predators, while demons themselves were reshaped by the endless depths of human desire. What she had witnessed went far beyond her expectations, and for a time, that was enough to satisfy her curiosity. Darwin realized, after learning about the concept of invasive species, that by releasing demons into the human world, she may have committed the gravest sin as a biologist, and with firm resolve, she declared that every last one of them would be sent back to hell, telling Aldralf without hesitation that she would no longer tolerate their existence. Darwin boldly declared that if demons could be freed from hell, then they could also be sent back there, revealing her resolve that the method was simple. All she had to do was kill them, standing unshaken even as the furious demon mocked her humanity and accused her of arrogance. A new character bursts onto the scene with overwhelming force, striking the monstrous demon with a devastating blow that pierces through its defenses and sends it crashing down. His sudden arrival shifts the tide of battle, revealing not only his immense strength but also his role as a key player in the conflict against the demons. Darwin introduces the mysterious newcomer as Elk Rourke, a man known as an evolver, someone who has surpassed the limits of human comprehension. In this world, there exist rare individuals born with the power to stand against demons, and Elk is one of them. A demon-slaying knight destined to send the creatures of hell back where they belong. Aldralf reels in rage after losing one of his precious teeth, something he boasts as his greatest weapon for crushing humans. He howls that they are his most important tools, flawless and without a single cavity, and lashes out at Elk Rourke with pure fury. Insulted by the notion that someone like Elk dares to call himself an evolver or a demon slayer, Aldralf's pride drives him into a vengeful frenzy. Aldralf erupts in fury, screaming that no mere human could ever defeat a devil, vowing to kill, tear apart, and devour Elk for daring to strike him. But Darwin calmly reveals the terrifying truth. Aldralf's authority, ornamentation, grants him the power to instantly turn his victims into birds with a single touch of his pale blue hand. It's an inescapable, one-hit kill ability, leaving Elk face-to-face with death should he be caught even once. Aldralf lashes out with blinding speed, his deadly strikes cutting through the air with overwhelming force. Yet Elk evades them all with precision, his movements flowing as though the world itself were moving in slow motion. To him, this speed was nothing extraordinary. For Elk had lived his entire life in a world where everything else moved sluggishly since the moment of his birth. Exploiting that unnatural perception, he counters in an instant, delivering a crushing blow that lands squarely against the demon's body. From the moment he was born, Elk perceived the world in unbearable slow motion, where a single second stretched into 18, making every movement and word from others appear sluggish and distorted. Though he had never known any other reality, the weight of his existence became increasingly isolating. Conversations slipped away from his grasp, and human interactions turned into indecipherable fragments. Books stacked high around him offered no answers, no solace to the gnawing emptiness within. In his solitude, someone finally appeared and taught Elk the meaning of his existence, the reason for his birth, and the role he was destined to play. It didn't matter who that person was. What mattered was that Elk understood. Through those teachings, he came to embrace his true self, uncovering the identity he had long sought amidst his loneliness. In the present, Darwin reveals that Elk, after finding meaning in his existence, swore loyalty to her, ready to sacrifice his life as the vanguard against demons. She explains that fulfilling one's purpose is the ultimate happiness for any being, just as worker bees and soldiers embrace their fate without regret. Elk launches a fierce assault, swiftly cutting down Aldroalf's summoned arms with precise sword strikes, causing the demon to scream in agony. As the battlefield shakes with fury, Aldroalf roars in rage, declaring his intent to kill Elk, unleashing his bloodlust with terrifying intensity. Aldroalf is shocked as Elk suddenly disappears from sight, only to reappear right behind him with overwhelming speed. Panic and disbelief fill the demon's face as he realizes Elk's movement defies his perception, forcing him to confront the terrifying reality of his opponent's power. With a devastating slash, Elk cleaves through Aldroalf's monstrous body, sending blood and fragments scattering violently through the air. The demon's agonized scream echoes as his form is torn apart, overwhelmed by Elk's overwhelming strength and speed. Darwin explains that long ago, Elk's ancestors formed a pact with the demon Barbados, the eighth pillar, the hunter. Though the power granted was meant to vanish within a single generation, it instead lingered and quietly passed down like a faint gene to his descendants. This inherited ability allowed Elk to manipulate time within himself, perceiving seconds as if they stretched endlessly. That gift, once used in history to carry out acts of terror and revolution, now manifested in Elk, transforming him into an evolver, a superhuman capable of rivaling demons. In the modern age, a new warrior has emerged, Elk Rourke, an evolver whose strength not only rivals but surpasses demons themselves. Darwin marvels at his existence, declaring it truly magnificent. Unlike ordinary humans, Elk possesses the ability to take even the powers of demons and make them his own, embodying the ultimate fusion of human willpower and inherited supernatural force. Elk Rourke moved with unmatched speed and power, his blade tearing through the demon as fear twisted across its monstrous face. In that moment, he embodied humanity's next step in evolution, standing as proof that mortals could rise to challenge even the terrors of hell. Elk stood tall, his sword raised high as the demon lay broken before him. In that moment, his presence radiated an unshakable resolve, the embodiment of humanity's will to fight, endure, and overcome. The battlefield quieted as the demon collapsed, admitting defeat with its final breath. Elk walked away, his sword dripping with the weight of victory, while Darwin and the others looked on in stunned silence. The fight had ended, and humanity had proven once again that its spirit could defy even the horrors of hell. With a sudden surge of power, Darwin broke free from his restraints. His body radiated energy as he unleashed a technique never before seen, the divine orientation trinity. Darwin released an overwhelming surge of power, channeling it into a destructive technique that pierced through the battlefield, purification beam, death pole. The attack was unlike anything seen before, leaving everyone stunned as the sheer force carved through both flesh and spirit. The demon surprised as Darwin showed her technique. Amid the chaos, Elk stood firm, though clearly strained, his resolve burning as bright as ever. Darwin's clever maneuver was revealed. He had tricked both Elk and the demon, swapping places at the crucial moment to turn the battle in his favor. The demon, melting and in disbelief, lamented how its supposedly perfect transformation had failed. Yet, for Darwin, this was the essence of demons, merciless, leaving no chance for error. As the demon's body dissolved away, it revealed its fear and sorrow, lamenting the beauty of the human world, the freshness of the air, and the taste of food it would never experience again. With desperation, it begged not to be sent back, crying out to Darwin as if clinging to the last fragments of existence. Darwin bids a cold farewell to Aldroalf, acknowledging his descent back into the depths of the earth. Without hesitation, she turns her attention to the aftermath, calmly pondering the fate of the wounded soul left behind, questioning whether he still clings to life. As the fake cop awaits his end, realizing the consequences of his actions, Darwin and Elk remain emotionless, contemplating whether or not to assist him. Their exchange reveals no empathy or judgment. It is simply a cold moment between them, reflecting their detached view of life and death. As the criminal lays on the ground, aware of the inevitable consequences awaiting him in hell, Darwin offers a chance for redemption. With a chilling smile, she presents the idea of atoning for his sins by doing righteous acts, a tempting offer that puts the criminal in an agonizing dilemma. Darwin reveals her twisted plan, insinuating that the man's criminal past, especially his sin of abducting strangers for demons, would only lead to damnation. However, she hints at a strange offer, suggesting that the man could find a way to redeem himself by assisting her on a journey to hell. In the final moment of this chapter, a chilling alliance is formed as Darwin and the fake cop hand reaches out to shake hands, sealing an unholy bond. The words, "Let's get along," resonate ominously, signaling the start of a disturbing partnership. The notion of human contrasts sharply with the dark path that lies ahead, leaving a sense of foreboding.